It was a Saturday just like today when Marvin's was about to go outside. Something was holding him from going outside for so long, but at 12:15 a.m. he ignored his thoughts because of the confidence in his muscles. He thought he was invincible. Until he stepped out. After 3 minutes walking, he felt the wind was not just physical, but he could feel it blowing his soul away. At the same time he could hear the sound of a bell that was far away from him. Marvin's hair is lifted up by the vibration of the bell. Cortisol started flowing in the body at the same rhythm as the wind. Boom, 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 his heart racing. Marvin stopped for a minute to calm down, but he couldn't because the sound of the bell was getting closer. Immediately, Marvin's turned around, ready to sprint back home. But as he did, he saw a shadowy figure standing at the end of the road. The figure was tall, with a long black coat blowing in the wind, and in its hand was a large bell, ringing out into the night. The sound was even louder now, filling Marvin's ears and mind. His heart pounded in his chest as he stood frozen in fear. Suddenly the figure lifted the bell high above its head, and the ringing stopped. The silence was worse than the noise. All Marvin's could hear was his own breathing and the wind. Then without warning, the figure leaped towards him, swinging his bell. Marvin's turned around and ran, getting a boost of adrenaline from being so scared. He didn't look back until he felt that he was safe inside his house, the door locked behind him. The sound of the bell was distant now, but it echoed in his mind, as a reminder of the terror he had just faced. The monster knocks at the door passively, but Marvin's feel like there is still some aggression in the air. The monster is still standing outside waiting for him to come out, or open the door, while that was not Marvin's idea to come out. He went to bed that night but couldn't sleep because of the sound of the bell that he could hear in his mind and also the sensation under his teeth. Marvin stayed up all night. There was no one that could help him. The next morning walked to the door to check if everything was okay while questioning himself to know if last night was real. In front of the door he found a piece of paper with some dust on it. The paper says, "Why do people get away from me? Why am I so different?" Marvin's couldn't understand why the paper says that either, where the paper comes from. After a good 30 minutes of thinking, he realized the only time he was trying to get away was last, and he figured out that can be the monster. He waits for the night and says he will face the monster no matter what. He takes a deep breath, trying to calm his racing heart. As he gathers his courage, Marvin's decides to face his fear, the monster. He slowly opens the door, expecting to see the shadowy figure waiting for him, but to his surprise, there is no one there. The street is empty, and the wind carries only the sound of the bell in the distance.